Hey guys, it's Jazzy. So today we are going to be making a Valentine's Gnome. I'm super excited about this one, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so in this craft we are going to be making some DIY Valentine Gnomes. So you're going to need some black hair, some rainbow hair that I got from Hobby Lobby, a pack of Valentine's socks. I chose these because they had the word love on it. They are the 5 to 9 size knee highs and they are from Dollar Tree. Also a pair of these. I'm only going to use one sock, but a pair of those. And they come in kid size 7 to 2 at Dollar Tree. And then you're going to need some kind of filler. So I chose to use beans. Then you're going to need 3 by 16 hole ball wooden knobs. Alright, so we're going to put out 2 of those knobs because we're making a couple. A pair of scissors. Some pom-poms. I chose to do a variety, so red, pink, and black. I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet, but have some on hand. Alright, so now we are going to start filling our sock. The best method I chose was to use a tall cup. So pour about halfway with the beans. Alright, so now we're going to take this sock and roll it, and we're going to put it around the cup. Just stretch it out and put it around the cup. And then carefully just tip it over and hold the bottom and just dump out the beans into the sock. Now, since these are knee-high, some people decide to take the sock and either cut it or tie a rubber band around it. But I'm just going to make it simple and just tie a little knot in it with that knee-high sock. So the best way to do that is kind of move around your beans a little bit. Make sure they're all pushed down. And then you're just going to wrap the sock around. Just like that. And as you can see, I put a little knot. And now we're just going to pull it tighter to make sure that it don't come apart. All right, so now we're not going to need this part of the sock, so we're just going to cut it off and we're going to use it later for the hat. So just set that aside and move around your beans the way you want your little gnome body to be, whether you want it kind of skinny or a little chubby. For this one, it was a little chubbier. All right, so we are going to now put the hair around the gnome. Just make sure that you're putting the hair the correct location, like it's going downward, not side to side. That way it gives it that beard rustic look or scraggly look. So we're gonna measure it around, just put it around the gnome's body, and then we're going to cut about halfway. So what I did was I basically just measured it. Some people do cut the back off so you can see the sock, but I just chose to use it this way. So now I'm just taking off the excess hair. As when you cut, a lot of the hair falls off. So I'm just pulling the pieces off and straighten it downward. And just fluff it up a little bit. All right, so now we're going to glue up the hair. Now I just copied the same size and did it for the black. And then I also copied the way I did the sock for the gray sock and did the same thing. And I didn't cut it, I just tied it off. All right, so we are going to put some glue, hot glue. And carefully start gluing on the hair. So just line it up where you want it to be. And press down. And then we're gonna go around the whole body and glue the top part. Now you can try to glue some of the bottom parts, but it's not necessarily needed. You can always go back and carefully just lift it up and add some glue to it as you go. And you're going to continue to put the glue. And just continue to press around as you go, making sure that it's lined up at the top. Now you don't have to be perfect because the sock hat will be going on the top, so you're not going to see that part. Occasionally you'll get some glue strands or spider webs, as some people call it. So just make sure you pull them out so they don't get stuck to the hair. All right, so now as we're getting closer to overlapping, it's okay if you overlap it. Now, like I said, some people do cut off the back and kind of curve it up so you can see the sock and have it as their back, but I chose to do it all the way around. And as this is my first gnome, I'm just learning the techniques myself, so I'm doing the best I can. And later in the future, when I make more, I will adjust it as I go. So now I'm just hot gluing the seam where the edges meet together and making sure it's flat. All right, now we're gonna pat down the hair and just fill in any other gaps that you may have. Just making sure that hair is on. All right, so now we're gonna just fluff it down so we can get ready to make the hat. All right, so we are going to get the excess of that sock, and you're going to find the part that is the elastic band part and carefully just put it around the top part of the gnome's head, and make sure you flatten down the hair some. And just make sure it looks the way you want. Now I kind of want a saggy, like stocking kind of hat. So I'm going to show you how you do that in a few minutes. So now we are going to carefully put hot glue a couple spots to make that hat stay. So I chose to do the front, the sides, and the back. Just making sure that it stays down. So I just carefully lift up the sock and pull the hairs down just a little bit. And then you just add the glue. Again, be careful of the little spider webs that come off. Just making sure that it doesn't stick to your hair, because it'll be a mess to try to get it out. So here we are going to push down some of the hair and finish off gluing some of that edge that we had in the back, making sure that it's all flat. And carefully lifting and repeating the process and adding some glue. All right, now that we have all the hat down on the edge, we are now going to make our stocking hat. So the part that kind of just hangs down. So the best thing that I figure out to do was to kind of twist the sock over a little bit, giving it that stocking look. And I wanted the word love to stay in the front. So to do so, I decided that I was going to scrunch up the bottom of the sock. And we're going to hot glue it all together. So you just basically glue, kind of scrunch up, shift it a little bit, and keep repeating that until it's all hooked together. add some more glue. Squeezing it together, making sure it's staying. Alright guys, so now that we have the bottom all glued, I put some more glue and I'm going to add the pom-pom at the bottom. I chose to do red for the guy Gnome or Mr. Valentine. And I decided to put two. I was going to only put one, but it just looked a lot fuller with two. And it was starting to look super cute. So now I'm going to get ready to do the nose. So since it is a boy, I want to fluff out his hair to give him some whiskers to make it look like a mustache. So now I applied hot glue and I put it right down on the knob and press down. Now, it didn't seem like it was holding very well, so I picked up the hair just a little bit and glued that part down some more and added a little bit more. And that was the boy one. So now we're going to work on the girl one. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to start gluing again. And we're going to keep going around. So this time I noticed when I did it the first time that I had a lot of gaps because I was skipping spots. So I just basically went as the hair went. So a little glue as I went, as you can see, making sure that most of every part was down so that I didn't have to go back in the end. So then here we're going to overlap again. And then we're just gonna finish it up since we already knew that I was gonna do that for the other one. I just added the extra glue there. And fluffed down the hair and fixed any last little pieces that I forgot. All right. So now I cut off another piece of that sock. I used the second part of the pear and just cut it off, and I'm going to save the other one for another gnome or maybe next time when we do Valentines. So I put that one on, and then I glued around the edges, and then I glued at the bottom. Now this one was giving me trouble because I couldn't decide the way I wanted it. It just didn't lay right. So I had to keep taking off the hat and it was driving me crazy. And then the gnome started getting crazy hair. So here we're gonna add our pom-poms. I decided since it was a girl to do pink. I decided to put a couple extra on hers. I just trying to make it a little fuller to make it stick out and pop. And just an extra one at the bottom. All right. So now we're going to do her nose. And I'm not going to give her any whiskers because she's a girl. So I just glued it, put it on. Also made sure I picked up the hair and glued down it again. Because I noticed these knobs were really kind of weighty. So I wanted to make sure that they were done. And this is the final product.